We are 3 weeks into what we call like an idea incubator, which is when we get all our writers together and really just talk about what we want from our season and where we want our characters to end up. It's just a bit different this year because it's a bigger conversation when you're talking about where do you want your characters to end up for the rest of their lives. A little bit more pressure.
So, where did we leave off?
Act two.
That last episode is about the fans. If we've done our job okay, then I think we should be set up to wrap this show up in a really special way.
I do remember when the idea first sparked, and I remember Daniel driving over to my parents' house, writing the pilot presentation.
I came to him with the idea of exploring what it would look like for a wealthy family to lose their money.
It was really quite simple. I mean, he just said, would you be interested in working with me on developing a TV show? And that set my heart to palpitating.
I didn't have any idea what I was doing. So he was very legitimate in being scared.
What would happen on camera was still a bit of an unknown. I'd certainly seen him on MTV. I knew that he was great on camera. He had a great presence. But could he handle a scripted half-hour show? Still didn't know.
I'd seen the rich people lose their money concept played out in sitcoms, but I'd never seen it articulated through a slightly more sophisticated comedic lens.
He wanted the same sensibility that Chris Guest and I had put into our movies, which is good character-based comedy, good grounded stuff. You want an emotional investment in the characters.
We worked on just backstory for weeks.
What?
To the point where I was sort of like, Dad, can we just like move on? And he was like, no, we can't move on until we know exactly who these people are.
Good morning. Happy first day.
If I could just gather anybody that's outside in the peripherals to step in for a moment, we could just give the floor to Eugene. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say this morning, of course, is kind of monumental in a way because it's our very first shooting day of our very last season.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have 14 episodes to wrap this shit up, so let's make it worthwhile, let's have fun, and let's give it our all.
When we finally put it together and realized this is the show, it seemed like, you know, it had good bones, as they say. But when we finally cast it, that was really when we realized, wow, we're onto something really good here.
My dad had asked Catherine to be a part of the presentation pilot.
She's always like a first choice. She was a first choice with the movies that Chris and I did. I mean, number one name, let's get Catherine.
She had said yes, conditionally.
It's just 15 minutes, and then, you know, if it sells, even if it sells, you know, I won't bug you about doing the role.
And then the show got bought, and we had to go back to her and say, remember that show that we shot that was 14 minutes? Do you want to do that now for 13 episodes?
No, I don't think so. I'm kind of busy doing nothing.
I said, call her back, tell her, let's just look at 1 year, we'll go 1 year at a time, and if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. And he called her, and she said yes. And the rest is history.
So stupid. Really, it's lame to talk about not wanting to do it at the beginning. Because how stupid would I have been not to have done it?
You ready for the first shot of season 6? Game on.
And action.
Alexis! Your father and I are going to meet for a celebratory lunch when he's done at the bank.
Alexis was a character that we had a hard time casting. We must have seen 100 people.
I was in LA for pilot season, and things leading up to that point had not been going great. Feeling rusty? Yes. I hadn't worked in over 2 years. The universe was really screaming in my ear, like, this is not for you. And literally the next day, I got an email for an audition for a show called Schitt's Creek.
Hi, my name is Annie Murphy.
Annie came in, and she wasn't really made up, and she had a bun in her hair, and she walked in with this sort of casual nonchalance.
Wow.
And I called my dad after the audition, and I said, I think we have something here. So we brought her out for the test, and she came into the room, and it was magic.
Twyla? I didn't know that you two were...
Did you want to come in? I was just about to make some tea.
No.
My life just changed in that moment in a really, really big way.
Dustin Milligan, a friend of mine, you know, we sort of knew each other through the Canadian circles in LA. His name was Dan Levy. And he said, there's this show that's going. And in my head, I was like, whoa, am I about to get offered a role? And then it was like, for you to audition for this role. And I was like, okay, got it. Go, 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 go. Okay, just relax. If it's a heart attack, you're way too far from the hospital to make it through the night.
What?
Kidding.
When the breakdown finally arrived, you know, I saw the names, Levy and O'Hara, and the nerves just kind of take over, and then the work ethic takes over, and yeah, I think I managed to put all that aside. They come in different colors, princess. Orange is the new orange.
I got a call from my agent, and at the time, I was getting like audition anxiety to the point of like, if I walked in an audition room, I would break out in hives, like full body hives. And so I told my US agent, I'm like, I can't audition anymore. I'll put myself on tape. And he dropped me. And that's fair. I totally get it. But then my Canadian agent kept me, and she's like, just go in, they're Canadian, they're nice.
Emily Hampshire?
I just remember, this is so dumb, and I hope I didn't do this. I hope this is like a dream that didn't actually happen. I just remember rotary dialing an imaginary phone. That happened.
What the hell is this?
The downside.
My agent called and said, hey, there's a show that's being cast out of Toronto, and it's called Schitt's Creek. And I'm like, what did you just say? Because I was like, there's no show called Schitt's Creek that's going to be on Canadian television.
Sarah was in the pilot as Twyla, but it was a different version of Twyla.
She was very nerdy and introverted, and there was a sadness to her.
We do manicures. Her salon is called Lucky Nail.
The transition between that and the Twyla that exists now is just such a sunnier woman, just this little ray of sunshine.
Cheetah?
The day before I found out I got part of Jocelyn, I filled out an online application to stock the shelves at Petco, but you needed to operate a forklift. And I thought that was a bad idea in general.
Hi, it's Patrick. Oh, I'm David Rose.
I watched the first episode, and I remember being quite excited about it. And I didn't want to catch up when I had the audition, because I was like, I'm gonna blow this out of proportion for myself and like get in my head about it. The more you want it, the harder the audition is. So I was like, if I can trick myself into not wanting this too much, it will be to my benefit.
Great. Well, here's my card, and I feel like you will need it.
You know what? I think I'm good. What a lot of shows have to worry about in the first season is character. Did we hire the right people? Are they working out? That was never a concern for us, which is a huge luxury. Our cast knew who they were, came in, and sat so firm in those roles. They knew who they were from day one.
Cut.
Yeah. Yeah. First scene in the can.
Happy.
Yeah.
Last, first scene.